What's up, Facebook Live? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's see. Let me get Instagram going real quick. Whoops, that is not what I was hitting. Boom. Just a second. What's up, Instagram Live? Welcome, welcome, welcome. As you're tuning in, love to know, number one, where you're tuning in from. Number two, love to know three things you're grateful for, as always. Welcome back. Hey, Sue, how are you? Welcome back, welcome back. What's up, friends from all over the world as you're joining in? Chris, nice to see you, sir. Tony, welcome. Edgar, welcome. What's up from Lebanon? Welcome, welcome. As you're tuning in, love to know, number one, where you're tuning in from. Ohio. What's up, Ohio? Number two, love to know three things you're grateful for. Vladimir, nice to see you. What's up, Finley? Bianca, nice to see you. Welcome, welcome. Lebanon, Beirut in the house. Raleigh, North Carolina, welcome. Brazil, welcome, friends. London. Now, as you're tuning in, one more time, what's up from Miami? I'd love to know, number one, where you're tuning in from. Number two, love to know three things you're grateful for. Today's topic, and we've been doing this 100-day personal performance and business growth challenge. We've talked about figuring out what it is you want from 2019. We've talked about raising your financial thermostat. We've talked about designing your ideal day, overcoming the obstacle, using juicy questions to experience more of what you want, how to get the most out of your brain every day. We've talked about high quality sleep. We've talked about cutting off any of the excess baggage that you've been dragging around. What's up, Glenn from Fort Myers? Welcome. And so today, let's see, Edgar's grateful for health, family, and beautiful life. Very nice. So today, the topic is how to expand the current problem you're focused on. Now, it's really interesting, expanding the current problem you're focused on, meaning whatever the obstacle is that you're currently trying to overcome. And let me grab my little dry erase board here. Whatever the obstacle is, which we talked about, inevitably, if you're trying to get somewhere and you're grateful for home, family, and books, very nice. Grateful for my new car, my Wing Chun, and my family, very nice. So we talked about if you're here and you're trying to get over here to X, real simple. We have to be able to identify what is the obstacle between us and X. And there's lots of ways to get through, around, over this obstacle, but we got to identify what is it. Now, some people will say there is no obstacle. Then you'd be at X. So the truth is there's something. Now, it might be as simple as it's just effort is the obstacle. It might be time is the obstacle. It might be money or resources the obstacle. It might be finding the ideal client to do business with is the obstacle. It might be figuring out how to creatively draw up the business plan to get the right people on board to help accomplish the goal is the obstacle. And you know, right here we say my mindset is the obstacle, Magda is saying. And so we're identifying real quick what is the obstacle that you're focused on. And lots of people like to call this obstacle. Part of the obstacle is figuring out what's the problem you're trying to solve. Someone asked earlier, I'm trying to figure out how to grow my business and can I jump on live? Possibly. So here's the question I have, which is what is the problem you're currently trying to solve for right now? What's the problem you're currently trying to solve for right now in your life or your business? So in the comment section, I'd love to know what's the problem you're currently trying to solve for right now, either in your life or your business. And let's see if we can help you expand your thinking on this problem and help you find a solution that you might not have realized was there, 20 minutes ago. So let's ask real quick, what's the problem that you're trying to solve for? That's Finley says, my finances. So what's the problem with your finances? You got way too much money and can't figure out what to do with it? What's the problem you're trying to solve for? Now, I'll give you a clue. When you're talking about a problem that you're trying to solve for, the more specific you are, the easier it is to solve the problem. most people vocalize their problem in a way that make it very difficult to solve because they make the problem so broad that it becomes very difficult. It's like a moving target that they're trying to solve for. So the problem is too many indecisions. Keep digging. I don't think that's the real problem. Let's see. Audrey says to get more clients. I don't know if that's really the problem, but keep asking yourself. Debt is the problem. Now, would it be debt that's the problem or the decisions that consistently cause debt? Because we could solve the debt, meaning if the debt was wiped out 18 months from now, would the debt magically be back? Because the debt might not be the problem. The debt might be the problem you keep solving for, but then 18 months later, you keep landing up with more debt. I don't, and I'm not calling you out. I'm just saying I saw that comment. So how many people in the comment, throw up a little, raised hand person or a little me, how many people have ever tried to solve and said, okay, I know what the problem is between me. I want more money is what I'm aiming for and less debt. So less debt and more money is what I want. And the problem is the debt is the problem. And so we solve the debt. We work and work and work and work and work and work and work. And we finally are like, oh my gosh, we're figuring this out. The debt's gone. Yay. And then all of a sudden we look around and we get so excited about something, a seminar, a book. We get excited about a new car. We get excited about a new house. We get excited about a new outfit. We get excited about helping someone. We get excited about something. And all of a sudden we go, oh my gosh, it's worth it. And all of a sudden our debt goes, bloop, 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 bloop. Oh my gosh, the debt's back. I'll just throw it on the credit card real quick. I'll just throw it on the credit card. That'll solve this. Now, I don't know about you, but I've certainly done this. And then what I realized was, what's the problem I'm solving for? The problem was not debt. The problem was the decisions I kept making that would make it okay to land up in debt. The problem was me swiping a credit card when I had not enough cash to pay for what I wanted, but I still wanted it right now. The real problem was I really liked instant gratification. I was like, oof. And then when I kept digging and I said, but what's the real problem? Is it instant gratification or is there another problem? And what happens is you start to peel back the layers. You start to realize what the real challenge is. The real challenge was the mindset that I was uncomfortable delaying my gratification by saying, hey, I do really want that. What's the plan I will put in place and the achievements I'll have to accomplish in order to make that option now available to me that I could pay for it in full with cash. Now, I could still use a credit card if I want to do it and pay it down over time, but I would have the cash set aside first. The moment I made that adjustment in my mindset, debt was never another problem with me again. And for a long time when I was younger, debt was a problem because I had some bad habits I picked up from family members that I would get excited and I would just swipe a credit card when I wanted something. If I wanted to take a trip, I'd swipe a credit card. If I wanted to earn something, I'd swipe a credit card. And the thought process that really caused this problem was, I'll just pay it back over time. YOLO, you only live once. I might as well go for it now. And yes, that can be fun. At the same time, I realized the problem wasn't debt. The problem was the mindset that caused the debt over and over and over again. It wasn't just the mindset, it was the habit. It was the mix. And so, if you have this problem called debt, I'm going to urge you to say, hey, work on the mindset, work on the philosophy. And if you solve the philosophy, more often than not, you'll never land up in debt again. It's a pretty easy shift. But you can see the topic of the day is expanding the problems you're focused on that took us. Debt is the problem. No, wait a second. The mindset is the problem. No, wait a second. The habit is the problem. No, wait a second. It's a combination of the mindset and the habit. You adjust those two things and you never have a problem called debt again. So hopefully that's helpful. How to shift people's mindset from being profit focused to being impact focused. Need to find a key habit that can create momentum is in that shift. Interesting. So Glenn, the problem you're trying to solve for is convincing other people to have different values than they currently do, if I'm hearing you right. So we're saying the current problem. So how can we adjust? So if you want to change a habit, if you want to change a pattern, there's a great book right behind me over here called The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. And he talks about in that book, there's a 3-part little sequence you want to use. And the 3-part sequence is you want to know there's a trigger, there's a routine, and there's a reward. So if you want to train it, you have to train the same trigger. So the same trigger that used to set it off, you want to use that trigger to set off a different routine. So right now, we're going to say stress is the trigger, and that sets off something called smoking. And that sets off, then you get to relax, and then that's good. And then at some point in the future, you become stressed again. So it goes back over here, boop, boop, which means you're stressed. So then you go smoke, then you relax. And then you're stressed, so then you go smoke, then you relax. So what happens is instead of smoking, this is what my little cousin did. She stopped smoking in one day and never smoked for many, many, many months afterwards. I think she picked it up again, but hopefully she's watching this and she'll change her habit. So what she did is realize stress caused her to go smoke, which caused her to relax. So she said, interesting. She said, next time I'm stressed, what else could I do to then relax? And she goes, wait a minute. I could go for a run or a walk. She put her running shoes near the door, the same place she used to go to smoke. She'd get stressed, she'd walk over, snap her running shoes on, go for a run, come back, feel totally relaxed, and would be, Brandon, what's up, buddy? And would feel absolutely relaxed. And so if all of a sudden something, you have to figure out what's the emotion that causes me to go spend a bunch of money on the credit card, then go, oh shoot, I'm in debt, and then relax a little and then go through the cycle again. The next time you have that trigger, instead of blasting money onto your credit card, choose to set up a savings account, and all of a sudden you start saving money to then feel good about your decision, throw a smiley face in here, to then solve whatever it is you were trying to solve for, whatever the emotion is that caused you to want to go spend on your credit card. Instead, cause it to new patterns, save money to then allow you to hit the other emotion as well. So it's interesting. You can adjust and find a healthier habit. And if you could find that healthier pattern or healthier habit, all of a sudden you'll free yourself of the bad habit. So going back to the question we have over here by Glenn, it is, how do you shift people's mindset from being profit focused to being impact focused? Need to find a key habit that can create momentum in that shift. So here's the key. In this question, oh, thanks, Brandon. Appreciate the work you do with my team at Hurricane this year. So very welcome, man. We very much appreciate you bringing us in and allowing us to work with them. It means a lot to us. Let's see. When I feel stressed with money, I go out and spend on silly things just to lie to myself to feel good. So there's the pattern. It's actually stress. So stress causes you to go spend a bunch of money to try to feel better. But then what happens is you wake up the next day and go, oh my God, I've spent so much money, and you feel more stressed, and then you go spend more money. Then, that's the debt cycle. So all that needs to happen here is, instead of spending money, every time you feel stressed, find something else to replace it with that actually makes you feel better in the moment. Replace that habit and you'll never land up in the same debt cycle again. It's very quick. You can fix it in a heartbeat. So with Glenn, to adjust someone's values, I don't think, this is my belief, whatever it's worth, I don't think it's our place in this world to adjust someone's values. What gives me the right to walk up and say, you value the wrong stuff, you should value something else? But I think I know what you're aiming for. Again, we want to look at, how do you expand the problem? The problem is, you think the problem is they have the wrong values. I think the real problem is you're not finding a way to link up giving or impact, as you call it, to the current values they have. So instead of coming in and their number one value is money, their number two value is growth, their number three value is being awesome, you're coming in saying, those are the wrong values. Money, growth, and awesomeness are the wrong values. You should not value those things. Instead, what you should do is value love, giving, and kindness. And if everyone would just value love, giving, and kindness, then the world would be such a better place. So all these jerks who value money, growth, and awesomeness, they're horrible people, or not horrible people. They just don't get it. They don't get it. They're not evolved enough as humans, and they need to evolve more so that someday they'll value love, giving, and kindness. Glenn, am I anywhere close on this one? Because I hear this a lot. And I had this a lot. I'll tell you my experience. When I went and lived in a village in Uganda, I was volunteering and teaching organic farming. I came back and I went to a private Catholic college in San Diego where kids are talking about who just got a new BMW and their UGG boots they just bought and whose party they're going to and what so-and-so is doing on the TV show. Just nonsense that for me are so ridiculous in that moment, because I just came from a place where people are dying because they don't have $2 to access medication, where people don't have access to clean drinking water, and they're just stuck. And people are like, oh my gosh, the problem, and my problem was people are valuing money and growth and awesomeness, and they need to value love and giving and caring to take care of the world. And I was pissed in this moment. And so this concept is, I said, wait a minute. Why in the world should I get to tell people what they value? What if, instead of trying to compete with their values, which you're never going to be able to compete, what if I could sit down with someone and say, hey, wait a minute, you want to make more money? How could I help you make more money by helping you link it up that if you give more, you receive more in the world? How could I help you link up that kindness is actually the key to growth? Now, what I'm doing, this is called linking. The problem isn't that they have the wrong values. The problem, for Glenn, what you're trying to accomplish, if I can see it, is they're not linking up how giving is going to help them make more money. They're not linking up how, kindness is going to help them grow. That's what they're not linking up. Their values, help them reach their values. Help them make more money by giving. Help them make more money by being kind. But show them how the more money, the more kind they are and the more giving they do, the more money they make. And they go, oh my God, genius. And they start giving. They start helping. Help them showing how they become more awesome when they're kind and when they're giving. Help them show them that they grow more financially, business-wise, whatever, when they're this. And all what's happening is they're linking up. They get more of what they want by doing these things, if that makes sense. Instead of trying to convince them, these are not good, we need different values. So hopefully this is a helpful concept. Again, this is part of that's today's topic, expanding the problem. We think the problem is they have the wrong values. No, they don't. Those are their values. Who in the world are we to tell them they need to value something different? It's a bunch of hooey. That's their values. They chose them. Good for them. We just have to show them how by doing certain things and linking this up, they get to experience more of their values. It's a distinction right there that changes the way you go about things. Michelle, the kind of powerful word in the world, kind, and their little tentacles off the word involve things like love. The most powerful word in the world is kind, and then there are little tentacles off this word. Beautiful. Kindness is a great thing. Let's see, what other questions, what other problems are you trying to solve for? Let's see if we can do this again for a couple more, just to give you a couple more examples, and hopefully this is helpful. Is this helpful for you guys? Hopefully this thought process is helpful. This is something that becomes a game changer in business, because most people come into business and they try to solve They try to solve for a problem they see in society, but they try to solve for a surface problem instead of the real problem. How do we link mentally? Let's see. How do we link mentally? Do it actually become imprinted? Normally, I can do this one day and lose momentum. So what you're doing basically is you're getting motivated. Motivation will last for a day or two and then it fades away. Instead, build a habit. If you want to talk about a habit, go back to the little book I talked about here. You need a trigger, routine, reward. A couple other things with habits that are useful. Make it easy, meaning you want it accessible in 20 seconds or less. So if you want to get up, if you want to, the example they give in the book is, let's see. So people are saying one problem they're solving for is trying to build a new habit, if I'm hearing you guys correctly. A problem is I can't build this new habit of working out every day for 2019, or eating healthy every day, or not texting my ex at 2:30 in the morning. Saw some of you. Or not working out, or whatever it is. There's a challenge. You're trying to build a new habit. And so the new habit concept, again, some things that'll help. Number one, you got to take what's most important to you. We've talked about this before. If you want to figure out what's most important to you, your values, you might want to pop over to highperformancevalues.com, take that little values assessment for free, and then it'll help you better understand the way you value things and how you're going about it. Life. You just pick 10 words and it'll sort out and give you a whole personality assessment. It's pretty cool. Now, from there, take your top 3 values and take those top 3 values, then come back to what you want, the habit, and figure out how value number 1, whatever it is, value number 1, and then we're going to have number 2 and number 3. So you got to link up 15 ways how this new habit is going to help you stay in alignment and experience more of your number 1 value. If you sit down and you come up with, let's say 20 reasons, 20 ways that you say, listen, if I work out every day, here's 20 different ways that working out every day is going to help me experience even more of my number 1 most important value that I cherish in the world. If that makes sense. By working out every day, I'm going to experience even more. Let's say love is your number 1 value. How is working out going to help you experience even more love? It's going to help you experience self-love. It's going to give you energy so you can love on other people. It's going to make you feel great about yourself, which is even more love. It's going to help your heart be stronger, which is loving your heart. It's going to help you have more energy to love. And you just keep on writing way after way after way after way after way after way. If you come up with 50 ways that working out every morning at 5 a.m. is going to cause you to experience even more of your number 1 value, which we're going to guess is love in this case, guess what's going to happen? You're going to wake up and work out every freaking day. Why? Because it's helping you reach the number 1 most important thing in your life. And there's 25 to 30 to 50 different ways it's helping you reach this number 1 value. So if you're struggling, because if I said for someone here, let's talk to someone real quick. Someone who's struggling with a new habit. I'll show you. And you guys are going to laugh in a second because this is pretty entertaining. Someone who here is struggling right now. You're actually struggling by implementing a new habit. Who's struggling with implementing a new habit? Got it. And what's the habit you're struggling with? Let me pick someone. Let's see who's interesting. What's the habit you're struggling with? Got it. So lots of you are struggling with new habits, but what is the habit you're struggling with? Reading every day. Okay. Let's talk to this person. Let's see if I can get him on here. Facebook Live, I apologize. You might not be able to see this person, but if you jump over to Instagram Live, I'm inviting them to come and chat real quick, and you might be able to hear them, hopefully through the microphone here. Let's see if they'll join us. Prospecting daily is the habit that you're struggling with. Hey, there you are. How you are, sir?
Hey.
Let me turn this up so hopefully Facebook Live can hear us. So, what's the habit? You said the habit is reading every day. Yes. Okay. So, what's most important to you in life? Top value, just first thing that comes to mind.
Helping people.
Helping. Very cool. So, helping people is the number one value. Oh, we're losing you. Oh, you're still there. So, helping people. So, how does reading help you help people?
How does reading help me help people? Gives me more knowledge, I guess.
Okay, so knowledge. How else does reading help you help people?
Makes me more mindful.
Okay, more mindful. How else does reading help you help people?
I don't know.
So perfect example. Thank you. That's why reading is hard, because reading only helps you two possible ways do something that's most important to you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If we came up with 47 other ways that reading helps you help people, can you see how the motivation would start to go up? So as a group, real quick, in the comment section, start tossing in, how could reading help this gentleman help more people? Let's see what people have to say. I'll read some of them. But you and I, let's brainstorm together. How else could reading help you help more people?
How else could reading help?
And watch this. Do you
developing strategies? So I'm a personal trainer, so I guess I could read more books and develop more strategies to kind of help people with, mind goal setting and, nutrition and stuff like that, or new workouts, new ways of working out.
There you go. So new strategies. You could learn all kinds of stuff. And I'm guessing a personal trainer, as much as you would say I'm just a personal trainer, in that concept, you're more like a therapist too, because people spill all kinds of crap when they're working out with you. And I know it because I've heard it at the gym where I'm like, wow, they're really spilling everything. I wonder if they're best friends. And it's like, then you see them at the end of the session being like, well, see you next week, Jim. You're like, that dude just spilled his whole life story over there. And so really, truly, if you really wanted to help people, you're going to gain more knowledge from reading. You're going to become more mindful with reading. You're going to come up with more strategies to help people. You might take time to write down and ask your clients, what are the top 50 things you're struggling with in your life right now? And then you start reading books about those things. And the next time that client comes in, you're like, oh, I just read a book on the big debt cycle going on in the United States. With your investments, sir, you might want to think, I'm not an advisor, but you might want to consider the debt cycle that's going on right now. And all of a sudden, you took this person from a personal training client to a coaching client who now wants to pay you double just to sit and talk with you because you're helping him with the biggest problem he has in his business right now.